Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in these weekly videos, I go over the astrological energies for the week ahead, and I also use my intuition. And in this week's forecast, we will be going over the energy for February 12th to the 18th, 2024. So this is actually a really big astrological week. And before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy these weekly forecasts. I also post new moon and full moon forecasts, and I also post rising sign horoscopes every single month, the first day of the month. So make sure you subscribe so that you never miss a forecast. Now, coming into the week, we are actually starting the Chiron North Node conjunction in Aries, and this is going to be a 2-week transit. So last week we had a lot of activations and triggers around self-worth, self-love. We had Venus forming a T-square to the nodes. We had Venus squaring Chiron. So we've been moving through and navigating this really difficult energy around relationships and around the relationship that we have with ourselves. And having this energy in Aries, which truly represents the self and our identity and who we are at a core level, we really are moving through some major spiritual growth and transformation opportunities. And so whatever was kind of triggered last week around trauma and hurt, old wounds, vulnerabilities, insecurities, now over the next 2 weeks, there's going to be this healing process. You're going to be moving through almost like this transformational energy. And I feel like releasing karmic cycles and ties that we've had for lifetimes. Having this Chiron North Node conjunction in Aries is really giving us this ability to transform and grow on such a spiritual level that truly can manifest into our physical reality. This is where we're able to completely let go of karmic energies and karmic cycles that have been holding us back and preventing us from moving forward in some way. And it can be around our own personal growth for sure, but it can also be around relationships and, how old hurt and trauma has prevented you from having healthy relationships, and also how your own personal insecurities and lack of self-love and self-worth has prevented you from having healthy what is the word not satisfaction. What is the word I'm looking for? Healthy, successful relationships. That's what I'm looking for. These parts of ourselves have prevented us from having successful relationships, healthy relationships, due to past trauma, past hurt, how we feel about ourselves. And I think it's really important at this time to pay attention to what is bubbling up, what is coming to the surface internally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually, because we really do have this amazing opportunity to have this spiritual growth and end these karmic cycles. Now, this energy can actually cause some collective wounds to open up, wounds that have been created from past war events in the world. So we may see a lot of energies around war and violence at this time from past wars almost coming back to the surface. It's a really interesting energy that I've been feeling lately. It's almost like things that were decided amongst countries and leaders, there's going to be a revisiting of certain things that were put in place between countries and certain things that were created and energies that kind of manifested from past war. So I know that can seem a little vague, but it's just something I've been feeling intuitively, and having all of this energy in Aries and plus all the other coinciding energy, we really are in an energy right now that can be quite volatile. This week, we're also going to have the Mars conjunction of Pluto and Aquarius, which I will be getting into in this forecast. But there is a lot of energy right now around war, around violence, around breaking free, the collective breaking free. And so we may see And I think that, and this just actually popped in my head, but I think a perfect representation of the North Node in Chiron energy is kind of what has been going on with the relationship from the incident that started back in October between Palestine and, kind of all of that stuff, where, those things have been going on for years and years and years. And it's almost like a wound that is opening up to those people. And I really hope that makes sense. And I have issues sometimes expressing how I'm feeling or kind of communicating that. And so I hope that I'm communicating that in a way that you can understand. But it really is almost like these kind of collective wounds from past war and, violence kind of. Now, this North Node Chiron conjunction can also bring a lot up around self-identity. And we are seeing a lot of people who are kind of moving through this self-identity and individuality crisis, in a sense, where people are trying to figure out who they are, and we're seeing this play out in the world. And this can amp up with this Aries energy, because Aries represents the self. Aries represents your identity, right? And so when we're talking about these energies generally, we can be seeing a lot of the collective kind of trying to figure out their self-identity, trying to figure out where they fit in the world, where they fit, within society. Now, on Monday, we're going to have the moon enter Aries, and on Tuesday, that moon is going to form a conjunction to the Chiron North Node energy. So throughout Monday, there can feel like there is this emotional buildup. Now, collectively, this is where emotions can become quite heightened, quite volatile. We could see, a lot of rising within the collective on Monday and Tuesday. Once we get to Tuesday is when we have that moon form an exact conjunction to the North Node in Chiron. And we also have Mars entering Aquarius on Tuesday and forming a conjunction to Pluto. And if that wasn't enough, we also have Venus in a sextile to Neptune, which can be a mixed bag. We want to remember, Venus sextiling Neptune can be great for creativity, imagination, and romance. But we have to remember that Venus is the dispositor of the South Node. And having the moon conjunct Chiron in the North Node and having the North Node conjunct Chiron, there's a lot of confusion here. And so we're in this energy of wanting to make decisions, wanting to make choices, but we really do have to be careful that we're seeing things clearly, that we're not, I keep feeling like cloudy judgment in a sense. And so we really want to tread lightly with this energy. We want to be feeling what is showing up for us, not necessarily making any rash decisions, but sitting with the energy and riding the wave. We have all planets direct, which is giving us this push to move forward, to start, these new ventures and projects. And we absolutely should be. But this is an energy of not necessarily starting anything new or jumping on a new decision. This is about continuing what you've already put in place, continuing what you've already started, and not necessarily just letting everything go because you think that it is not going to happen, or you think that it's not going to work out. This is not an energy to be making rash decisions in that sense. We don't want to be, just throwing everything in the air and walking away. We really want to be sitting with this energy, because there can be a lot here of wanting to just say, oh, it's not going to work out, or, oh, this isn't, maybe this isn't my journey, kind of giving up. And we don't want to be doing that. But we don't want to be making any rash decisions. We want to sit with the energy and keep moving forward on what you have already started. Keep moving forward on what has already been put in place. Now, let's talk about this Mars-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius. So we know that Aquarius rules the people, rules the collective, humanity, society as a whole. And Aquarius also rules the internet, technology, AI. And so having Mars enter Aquarius and conjunct Pluto already, this is an energy that we've never experienced, but this is also going to mark the beginning of a 2-year process because it takes Mars roughly 2 years to transit the zodiac. And so whatever is started, and we want to watch, collectively worldwide and in your own individual life, whatever is started and implemented and whatever is brought to the surface with this Mars Pluto conjunction in Aquarius, there is going to be a playing out and a story that plays out over the next 2 years. So we really want to be paying attention this week to what is showing up. And you may have already felt the buildup because as Pluto is reaching those end degrees of end degrees of Capricorn, you can start to feel the buildup with things. Now with the collective, I have to be honest, I'm an astrologer and I would not be doing you any service if I just talked about love, light, and rainbows and butterflies all the time. This can be quite a volatile energy. We really can be seeing protests at this time. We could be seeing riots. We could be seeing a lot going on in the world. This is Mars, the planet of anger, aggression, conflict, war, violence, connecting to Pluto, which is the planet of transformation. So there's definitely some transformational action being taken with this energy. There's going to be people are going to be taking action, and I'm talking about countries and leaders, and even in your own individual life, taking action in very transformational ways that could truly change the direction that you're moving in, the direction that countries are moving in, and the direction that the collective is moving in as a whole. And the first thing that's kind of coming to my mind right now is the Texas border. Everything that's going on in Texas in the United States, this is really going to mark a 2-year process, I think, for some things going on in the United States. So we want to be watching Texas, and I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately, but with having that eclipse coming up in April and going right through Texas, which is going to be the second eclipse going through Texas, there's a lot that is starting to bubble up. There is a lot that is starting to arise in Texas. So we want to be watching this. And also in other places of the world, we're seeing a lot of protests. We're seeing farmers protests, truckers protests. Everybody is protesting. And so this can definitely amp up with this energy. And because Aquarius rules the internet, I think that this is also too where we could see cyber attacks. We could see cyber attacks, or we could see something going on with the internet where there's a crash with this Pluto Mars conjunction in Aquarius. So I think that's another thing that we also want to be watching for this week as well. Now, in your own individual life, you want to know where you have Aquarius, that 0 degree point in Aquarius, because there's something new being activated in this area of your life. Now, also Mars rules Aries, and Mars and Pluto both rule Scorpio. So this Mars Pluto conjunction can also be affecting the Aries of your life, of your birth chart, and the Scorpio area of your life, of your birth chart. So you want to know the themes and topics associated with these houses to know what could possibly be activated with this Mars Pluto conjunction, because there can be something triggered and activated in these areas of life that you're really having to take action on, and you're really having to navigate. So check out your birth chart to see where you have that 0 degree point of Aquarius, and also where you have Aries, the house that is ruled by Aries, and the house that is ruled by Scorpio, because this conjunction can definitely be affecting these areas of life. Now, I just want to make another point about this energy before I move on, but because Aquarius can also rule AI and technology, we may see something very volatile going on in this area of life. There could be something very transformational kind of coming out with AI at this time, and not necessarily in a good way. There might just be something very intense going on. And we also too want to remember that Pluto does rule secrets and things that are hidden and bringing things things to light. And so there may be also something around what was hidden with the collective, or what's been hidden around technology, or what's been hidden, online with AI. We want to take all of this kind of into account, because Pluto is that energy of, secrets and things that are hidden, what is beneath the surface. And by the time we get to the end of the week, we have Venus entering Aquarius and forming a conjunction to Pluto. So we're dealing with a lot of this Pluto and Aquarius energy, where there can be a lot surfacing, a lot that was hidden coming to light in our own lives and collectively. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have the moon enter Taurus. And when the moon enters Taurus, the moon is going to form a square to Pluto and Mars. And so this can feel very volatile. This could, be anger, aggression, conflict, fight. So we do want to be watching for that. The moon in Taurus, though, the moon is exalted in Taurus. And the moon in Taurus wants to feel comfort, stability, security. And so there can be something on Wednesday that is shaking you out of your comfort zone. So watch, Wednesday could be a little bit of a difficult energy just for the first part, while, really just that morning, or actually afternoon, when the moon is going to enter. So the moon is going to enter Taurus around 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, right in the middle of the day. So we're definitely going to feel this on Wednesday with, something kind of feeling like we're being shaken out of our comfort zone. We're definitely going to see this with world events, but in our own individual life, this could be a little bit of a difficult energy to navigate. We want to be watching for anger, aggression, conflict, because it is a square. There could be a block, a challenge. But I always want you guys to remember that with squares, whatever is activated with a square, this is what brings in room for personal growth. So pay attention to what is kind of surfacing with this energy, though. It's going to be it can feel emotionally draining. It really can. So protecting your energy and kind of, doing what you need to do to stay grounded, to feel safe, to, almost comfort yourself, because this is an energy where we can all be just kind of really shaken up. Now, also on Wednesday, we're still moving through this Jupiter-Saturn sextile, and I talked a lot about this in the February monthly horoscopes, that this is an energy that we have been in for quite a few weeks, and we will be in for, for some time. But having Saturn at those new degree points, this is new territory, and Saturn sextiling Jupiter is really bringing in this beautiful opportunity for spiritual growth, for growth in the material realm, manifesting, really taking care of your energy and doing the spiritual work and manifesting in your physical reality, bringing that out into the world. So taking care of our energy is super important right now, especially with the Saturn and Pisces. But we want to be also paying attention to what Saturn is triggering in these new degree points of this area of our life. So knowing where you have Pisces, especially at that 8 degrees, is going to help give you a better understanding of how this energy is working with you. So for example, if you have Saturn in the 7th house, if you have Pisces in the 7th house of relationships and one-on-one connections, this Jupiter-Saturn sextile can be bringing in opportunity for growth. But what Saturn is going to do is activate where you have not been accountable for your part in the relationships. And so if you have that self-awareness to figure out what Saturn is stirring up for you, then you can take a hold of, or take, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? You can bring in that opportunity that sextile brings, which is growth within the relationship. Jupiter sextile Saturn, that's bringing in, opportunity for amazing growth within that relationship. But are you, being accountable for your part in the relationship? So I hope I made sense with how I was explaining that. And then we get to Thursday, and we have Mercury sextiling that North Node Chiron energy. So this is where there can be, some clarity coming in around this healing process that is taking place, whatever has been activated with this North Node Chiron energy. There could be information coming out about, collective energies and world events at this time. But pay attention to your intuitive downloads, because we also want to remember that this North Node Chiron energy is bringing in opportunity for amazing spiritual growth and ending karmic cycles. So the intuitive downloads that we're receiving on Thursday can really help in navigating this energy and understanding the directions to take. Now, at the same time of that Mercury North Node Chiron sextile, we're going to have the moon in Taurus form a conjunction to Jupiter and eventually form a conjunction to Uranus. So when the moon being in Taurus, where it is exalted, wanting to feel comfort, stability, it's now kind of moved off of that square to Mars and Pluto, connecting to Jupiter, where we're starting to feel more optimistic. We're starting to, feel more positive about the outcome that we're kind of in the journey that we're on and the direction that we're moving in. But having that moon with Uranus can bring, a little bit of anxiety. So we want to be watching for anxiety, but we also, again, want to be, taking care of our energy and watching those intuitive downloads, because Uranus, can bring sudden insight sometimes. So paying attention to your intuitive downloads, and especially to that Mercury energy, the Mercury at 16 is kind of squaring the moon as the moon transits Taurus in between Jupiter and Uranus. So there can be these conflicting energies with what your mind is saying and what you're emotionally feeling. So we do want to kind of watch for that. But I feel like this is very much an energy of wanting to be comfortable, wanting to kind of do what is known, what is where you feel safe and secure. You're wanting to stay in that energy, and there can be, information coming in that's shaking that up for you, or there can be, thoughts that you're having, or even a conversation that you're having that is, kind of making it a little difficult. So that's kind of what we want to watch for on Thursday. Now on Friday, we're going to have Venus enter Aquarius and form a conjunction of Pluto. So there's more being activated with this Pluto 0-degree point of Aquarius. So you want to know where this is happening in your birth chart. Now, collectively, this is where we can see a lot around our money and our finances. There could definitely be a lot implemented, or a lot of information coming out around digital currency and around, our money systems. So we want to be paying attention to that, because there can definitely be something very transformational taking place around money, material possessions, all of those Venusian themes and topics in our own individual life. They can have to do with relationships, self-love, self-worth. There can be something very transformational taking place. And at the same time, we have the moon entering Gemini, forming a trine. So this is where our emotions can really be aligning with the change that is taking place. So we really do love this. Now, we also have, at the same time, Mercury, eventually, later on the day on Friday, Mercury is going to reach the 19 degrees of Aquarius and form a square to Uranus. So Uranus is the dispositor of Aquarius. We want to keep that in mind, that Uranus is dispositing now Venus, Pluto, Mars, Mercury, and the Sun. So there's a lot of instability right now. There is a lot being shaken up. And Venus ruling that south node energy. When Venus forms a conjunction to Pluto and enters Aquarius, there can be a lot here around breaking free, releasing, letting go, wanting something new. We want to remember that Uranian energy can be very rebellious. So there can be something around wanting to break free, wanting to break out of the known. And Venus rules the Taurus and the Libra area of your birth chart. So we also want to keep that in mind, that this Venus-Pluto conjunction can be shaking those areas of our life up as well. So now, this Aquarius area of our charts is just being lit up and activated. So, pay attention to kind of what is showing up for you in these areas of life. Where is it that you want to break free? Where is it that you're wanting to try something new? There's also amazing transformation taking place. There can be a lot of transformation taking place around relationships, how you connect in relationships, around self-love, self-worth, and the relationship with yourself. And I feel like as we kind of move through the weekend, we're still sitting with that energy. We're still absorbing and understanding what has kind of shown up for us and navigating that. Late on Sunday and early Monday is when we have the sun enter Pisces. And we want to remember that this Pisces season, we have Saturn in Pisces, and this is an energy that we have not experienced in like 30 years. So last year, Saturn entered Pisces in March, so it was after Pisces season. So this Pisces season is going to feel a little bit different. And we are eventually going to have a Mercury cazimi with Saturn, which is going to be huge for intuitive insights and clarity and understanding, but in a very karmic way. This is where there can be major endings to karmic cycles. Now, before I get off here, I do just want to mention that when we had Mercury enter Aquarius and form that conjunction to Pluto last week, I thought it was really interesting that was when Tucker Carlson decided that he was going to go to Russia and have that interview with Vladimir Putin in Russia. So that is interesting. And that can also be something initiated with this energy that we are going to see play out with more of these kind of Pluto conjunctions. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind when we're talking about collective energies, especially when we have, the Mars conjunction to Pluto. There can be more around maybe what was said in that interview, or just kind of something to keep in mind. But I thought it was really interesting because it was a very transformational conversation that took place that a lot of people were a little scared of. And I thought it was just a really kind of clear representation of a Mercury conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So I just wanted to mention that. But I hope you all have a fabulous week. This is a big week, and yes, it can be quite volatile. There can be a lot showing up. We're just in this amazing energy for newness and transformation, breaking free, but staying true to who you are on a soul level. We want to keep in mind that still having all this Aquarius energy, yes, it is being disposited by Uranus, which is wanting us to break free, wanting us to try something new, but it's also being co-ruled by Saturn and Pisces. So it's where, yes, do that, but as long as you're being true to who you are as an energetic being, as long as you're staying on the spiritual path. So keep that in mind as we're navigating all of this energy. Stay high vibing and make sure you're taking care of your energy and you're doing what you need to do for you and taking accountability and responsibility for your energy. And we're going to get through this. It's going to be fun. We're in times of change and we're in times of transformation and breaking free. Having Pluto in Aquarius this year is really going to show us how the collective is changing. And we're really going to see a lot of craziness this year. But I always say that as long as, the only thing that is consistent is change. The only thing that is constant is change, right? And so when we learn to embrace the change and we're not scared of the change, then we can move through this energy a lot easier. And so it's nothing to really be fearful of. We want to remember that having that Saturn and Pisces energy is all about, that emotional and spiritual maturity that we are all going through in some way, in our own way. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this helps you navigate the energies for the week ahead. And I will connect with you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy.